All right, I should be back and ready to go. Everybody with me? Test 1 2, test 1 2. Sorry about that. We're back. All right. I'm going to take this opportunity to grab some pistachios. Maybe I don't choke to death like I did the other night. All right, can anybody hear me? Sorry, I was chewing. Is there still not a feed on Facebook? There should be. Yeah, there's a Facebook on feed now. Yeah, they're here. They can't find it. It doesn't load as fast over there. Sorry, I was chewing on pistachios. Here, let me lay my phone here where y'all can at least see some chats. See that thing's moving. Maybe this view. There you go. At least you can see that thing's moving. You can see down through the crates. I gotta wait for a few more people to get on here. Last 2 nights, Facebook has just bugged out and it just crashes, and they make me reconnect. They're not built for streaming like these other websites, but you know, sometimes we go weeks, if not months, with without having a crash. What's left in the bonus crate? Let me see if I can actually tell you. Let me see if there's enough in here I can actually reveal. We might be about done with auctions, except for whatever else I can come up with miscellaneous. All right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that won't be sold tonight. The rest are really low grade. Bronze, Judas Priest, Crank, Saxon, and Stevie Nicks. Okay, here we go. I got Bronze Taken by Storm. Bronze Taken by Storm is a 1984 US OG specialty. This has the original inner sleeve. Bronze Taken by Storm is near mint minus, $10 start. We have Judas Priest, Sin After Sin, a 77 US OG Pittman, VG minus, $10 start on that. Okay, I was about to start a half off crate, which I'm about to right now, and we're going to tag all the King Diamond lights. Let me mute my mic one more time. Okay, I feel better. Let's go ahead and pull up King Diamond. All right, these are half off, no more, no less. Let's get started with these. And I have the following. Spencer Wiggins, Soul City, USA. There's probably going to be some great deals in here for the half off nonsense. I got this for $15. It's a 1977 Japanese mono. It was originally $29.99. $15 for Spencer Wiggins, Soul City, USA. Trans Electronic Music Productions Incorporated presents Walter Carlos and the Well-Tempered Synthesizer. That's in shrink, $7.50. That's the half off price. This is Selena Gomez Revelacion. Selena is $7.50. Priest has one bid with Brian Frenfrock for $10. Bronze is a $10 start. And Jack McDuff Magnetic Feel. That's a 75 USOG, $12.50 for Jack McDuff. And Soul Gospel Clarence Fountain. Soul Gospel is $7.50. He was the original lead singer of the Five Blind Boys of Alabama. Okay, Jazz Grog on McDuff. That's Jack McDuff right here. That's sold to Jazz Grog for $12.50. So the King Diamond lights are $59.99. This is pretty easy. I've got 10 of them, and they're $59.99. And the first person who got one was Jeff Brent RTO, then Jim Cooper, then Mark Morris, then Cindy Yarborough, then George Jones, then Hiram Aponte, then Kelly Cook, and then Danny Thomason, and then Jerry Stone. So that one is the only one left. King Diamond is the only one left, the one that's on display there, $59.99. And so the 9 that sold went to Jeff Brent RTO, Jim Cooper, Mark Morris, Cindy Yarborough, George Jones, Hiram Ponte, Kelly Cook, Danny Thomason, Jerry Stone. 9 sold, 1 left, King Diamond light box, $59.99. So Brian Frenfrock, you've been outbid on Priest. Christina Curtis wants the Selena Gomez. This is a half off crate, no more, no less. We have McCann Wilson, Les McCann, and the Gerald Wilson Orchestra. That's a 65 US, $10. A 65 US stereo, that's now $10. The Roaches Nerds, $5 on that. The Roaches Nerds, $5 on that. And Big Business, The Beast You Are. Wow, here we go. Stoner Rock, half off of $99.99. This is the record that Jim B lives for. This literally pays his mortgage every month. Big Business, The Beast You Are, $50. Numbered Stoner Rock, half off of $100. An absolute steal. Victor Guerra was first, and Jim B is pounding his keyboard and screaming obscenities because he just missed out and over $100 in net profit. John Durden gets the Nerds. That's sold to him. Judas Priest has a new bid for $14. Chris Knapp next on the Roaches. And then over here, Jazz Grog got McCann. There we have it. We got Spencer Wiggins, so did Denise. There's only 2 records left in here so far, and that's Clarence Fountain, Soul Gospel, and the Well-Tempered Synthesizer. Bronze, somebody said, what's Iron Maiden and Def Leppard bronze? This is called Bronze, Taken by Storm, a 1985 USOG specialty press, near mint minus. It has 1 bid for $10. Judas Priest, the last bid that came in on this was Brian Frenfrock at 14, and Jay Nutra, you've been outbid, just FYI. Danny Thomason on SG. SG for Danny Thomason. That was something I'm assuming that's already sold. B12, maybe bronze 12. Jay Nutra has Judas Priest for 15. Brian Frenfrock, you've been outbid. Now, it's at 16. Jay Nutra, you've been outbid. Dark in My Heart, The Lonesome Sounds of Lee Hazelwood. This is an unofficial Lee Hazelwood compilation, $12.50. SG is Soul Gospel, right here in front of me. This is sold to Black Sabbath Haas. His abbreviation sometimes, even though they're probably obvious, is Chinese to me. There's that. Eric Van Leuven on the Lee Hazelwood. That just leaves the well-tempered synthesizer. The well-tempered synthesizer. This is Qawwali, Sufi music from Pakistan. The Sabri Brothers and Ensemble. That's now $10. That's the half-off price. And we have the Cretone Snap Snap. The Cretones is $5 on that. The last bid that came in on bronze was Danny at $12. Jerry Rock, you've been outbid. Now Jerry Rock's at $13. Now Danny's been outbid. Spiky McVeigh on Quali. That's sold to Spiky McVeigh. Now Judas Priest is at $21. And then we have Bonnie Pointer. This is a 79 USOG sealed, $7.50. The well-tempered synthesizer is Near Mint and Shrink, $7.50. And Motown Sounds Space Dance. Motown Sounds Space Dance is a 78 US, $10. So King Diamond, 9 sold on the pre-order, 1 live one still left. Okay, now I have a whole box full of them right here. I'm going to take those right into the operation center, and that should be 9. I'll count them out a little bit later tonight, and then there's all the switches for them. Okay, I'll put those right there. So whoever's tagging, that box is full of the King Diamonds. We'll lay them all out tonight and make sure they're all there and they're good and clean and nice. Okay, we have bronze at 14, Victor Guerra on Bonnie. And that was this one right here, right? Yes, that's sold to Victor Guerra. Adam does take the well-tempered. This could be a clean-out half-off crate. This was great stuff that Paul marked. I think it's only ever been shown once, and now it's half off. And then Chris Knapp on the Cretones, and Judas Priest is at 22. All right, moving along. Next thing I have is Gene Dunlap, Party and Me. Whoa, half off of $79.99, an 81 US Boogie Funk Disco, $40 on that. So bronze is at 16 and Priest is at 22. Jay Neutra's done. The next light is going to be Van Halen. Let's get these out and let's get them tagged, okay? These look awesome. So I was told, just a disclaimer on this, the center of gravity for these things, they had to be, they're basically in a stand, probably one of the more costlier ones. They basically had to do a stand for these, and they're glued, and they are also got a thing on the back where you can hang them on the wall. So we did a couple different things with this one, and these are, I'm about to read the pre-order off. This is one of the bigger pre-orders we had for these. I'm going to go ahead and unhook King Diamond, and that way we can have a Van Halen on display while we're tagging, and I'm reading off the pre-orders, okay? So let me temporarily unplug King Diamond. It looks good, just not even lit up. It's a cool thing. Very, very cool thing. Let's put that right over here, and then let's get the Van Halens. Very, very cool here. Very, very cool here. So same thing, $59.99 on this. And let's get this one plugged up and see what it looks like. I like that snap. And we have, let's plug this up. And let's get it turned on. Ooh, awesome. That looks pretty sweet. Wow. Sorry, the cord is short. I've got this stretched halfway across. I've got this stretched halfway across my table here. It's not even in frame right now, is it? Yeah, it's not long enough. Nope, not long enough. Y'all gonna get a side angle. Let's see. I might have to move my camera temporarily. Yeah, I can't get it over here. Can I move that? I almost need an extension cord. No, I can't get it in frame. I can't get this one in frame, unfortunately. So. Let me move this. You can kind of see it over there. But there it is. That's awesome. You'll see that. That's an awesome. One of the neatest ones, I think. King Diamond. These are both awesome. This cord is wanting to almost pull it back. It's so short. I don't know why the King Diamond didn't have any problem. This one's kind of wanting to be pulled back. Get what I'm saying? the cord is way too short. Let me just lay it down before something bad happens, okay? That's the Van Halen lot. Those are $59.99. And we have, let me fix my camera back and let's figure out where we're going. Sorry about that. I didn't realize the cord was going to be that big of a problem. Bronze 16, bronze 17 out. And then how much was Gene? Gene Dunlap, the half off price was $40. It was $79.99. These are half off, no more, no less. Jim B wants to know which press. A 1981 US is the note on the back. And then over here, we have Ray Red on Gene Dunlap. 3 people are in line. Okay, let me go ahead and pull up the pre-order over here for Van Halen. I'm going to start reading them off. Let me get my invoice out to remind myself how many that came in. It should be the first 25. We only have about half the pre-order. Here's everybody that's going to be getting one this week. So there's the newest, and let me work my way up. There should be 25 in here. So I'm going to count out 25. And make sure everybody gets one. Yep, here they are. So 20. There's 20 in here. I've ordered 40. There's 20 Van Halen. So no one will be able to get one live tonight. Jim B, if you want Gene Dunlap, it's yours. If not, it's sold to Ray Red, okay? First, let me end these auctions, but I'm going to go ahead and show this right here. RJ's latest arrival, truly yours. RJ's latest arrival, $5. We're in a half off crate, no more, no less. RPM is $5, RPM is $5, and Eurogliders this island. Eurogliders is an 84 New Wave, $5 on Eurogliders, and Leon Everett, Goodbye King of Rock and Roll, tribute to Elvis, $5 on that. All right, so we're done on Judas Priest, and the last bit on Priest, Judas Priest was Brian Frenfrock at $22. That is sold. Bronze over here, the last bit on bronze that came in was the following. This was Black Sabbath Hoss. Danny got that for $17. Let me put that away. That's done. And then the next new claim over here was Jim B does take the Gene Dunlap. Jim B gets Gene. So that means Ray Red's next in line. And then Boone Tar on Eurogliders, okay? There's that. So here's the first 20 people on a Van Halen lot. Mark Morris, Brandon Jones, Travis Woods, Lisa Torres, and Jerry Stone. And then 5 more for Tim Graham, John McPatriot, Hiram Aponte, Patrick Lear, Jeff Brent RTO. And now we have 10 more left. Tony McDaniel, Darren Wortman, Stephen Coca, John Durden on 2. That's 15. Devin Reese, Sherry Darnell, Jennifer Schrader, Rob Fordham, and Scott Markheim. That should be 20. Mark Morris, Brandon Jones, Travis Woods, Lisa Torres, Jerry Stone, Tim Graham, John McPatriot, Hiram Ponte, Patrick Lear, Jeff Brent RTO, Tony McDaniel, Darren Warman, Stephen Coca, John Durden got 2. Should be 5 more. Devin Reese, Sherry Darnell, Jennifer Schrader, Rob Fordham, and Scott Markheim. Still on the pre-order. Still on the pre-order is Chris Bryant, Debbie Blair, Jamie Diaz, Colette Whitworth, and Rob Fordham commented again. Let me just, I don't want to, well, I'll remember, but he's on there twice. He shouldn't be. So I've got 20 more on the way. So with that being said, I've got a lot of extra Van Halens. I've got one, and then Susie Breedlove. Skip that one. Susie, Chris, Debbie, Jamie, Colette. So I've got 15 extra Van Halens. That's the only names I have down. Let me check my laptop. Hold on one second. I may have a line item on my laptop that says these are the people after the pre-order. That's for anybody on YouTube. And anybody else, they could be in next week. That was the first 20. My spreadsheet for Van Halen produces the following names: Sean Miller, El Snapatan, and Tony McDaniel. Sean Miller, El Snapatan, and Tony McDaniel. Okay? So there's that. Did any of those people's a name appear over here? They haven't. So El Snapatan, Sean Miller. So there we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So right now I've got 12 extras when the rest come in. I've got plenty. Plenty of extras. If anybody else wants one whenever they come in, possibly next week, but with these, there's no guarantee. Okay? No guarantee on these. All right, back to vinyl. Let me move this one because I don't like it just laying face down like this. Let me put this away. Let me plug back up the one that's actually for sale, King Diamond. Let me put this in here, and there we have it. So whoever's tagging, the small box is completely sold, King Diamond. The big box is completely sold of Van Halen's. Okay, so there's that. We have Leon Everett, RPM. Eurogliders was already sold, and Boone Tar was first on that one. We have Confunction, Mr. Tambourine Man. This is in VG condition, $5 on Confunction. And Beanie Moppin Moonscapes. Beanie Moppin is half off of $29.99. VG Plus, $15. A 1978 USOG, $15 on that one. And Oliver Sane Blue Max. Oliver Sane is in VG Plus condition, $7.50 for Oliver Sane Blue Max. That's in shrink wrap, VG Plus, $7.50. Tony Sylvester and New Ingredient, Magic Touch. Tony Sylvester is a 1976 US Disco Funk album, VG Plus, $12.50. And this is half off of $24.99, VG Plus, now $12.50, a 68 Cumbia Ranchera, and this is Los Nuevo de los Rampan something something, $12.50, and we have Process and the Do-Rags, Too Sharp. Process and the Do-Rags, Too Sharp is VG Plus, $6. Put down Corey Ross for a Van Halen Light, okay? Put down Corey Ross for a Van Halen Light, and that will, I'll key you in on over here on the spreadsheet, okay? Just make a note of that. We have Delegation, The Promise of Love. That is now $16.50. It was EX $32.99. Victor Guerra on Process. That is sold to Victor Guerra over there. And then Sleep Token. Blanket, do I have one that was put back? Is that the one that was put back? Yeah, I have a Sleep Token blanket in stock. Even in Arcadia. Sleep Token blanket, $79.99. Even Arcadia. I showed blankets the other night. We sold several, and we had some people go down on a waiting list. I've got Pink Floyd, Grateful Dead, Megadeth, and Iron Maiden. And then Sleep Token. That Sleep Token blanket, $79.99. Queen size, it's a Sherpa Fleece, 2025. Saturday Night at the Uptown, Wilson Pickett, the Drifters, the Carltons, the Vibrations, VG Plus, $5 on that. And this is Lynn Chandler, The Lovin' People. Lynn Chandler, a 67 US mono folk album. That's VG Plus, now just $5. And No Pointer, All My Reasons. That's VG condition, $5. And Cheetah, Rock and Roll Women. Cheetah over here is VG Plus, $5. The blanket is yours if you want it. So to Natasha Pickett. I can get this one and more if anybody else is interested. This is sold to Natasha. Let me lay, I don't know where to lay it. Let me lay it right here temporarily. Okay, there's that. Okay, that's done. That's Black Sabbath. That's Van Halen. All right, and then we have Victor Guerra on Cheetah. That's sold to Victor Guerra. And Delegation Details. Delegation is called The Promise of Love, a 1977 Disco Funk EX edition, $16.50. And William Bell, Phases of Reality, a 1972 USOG and Shrink, super clean, just $17.50. Yes, we're about to officially transition into showing the next miscellaneous item of the night, since we're officially done with signs. Put down Janet Gray with a Sleep Token blanket. Thank you on that. And since we're officially done with lights, let me explain to you our next deal. I have coins, silver bars, other coins, and we're going to be trying to show some books too. Okay, I'll start doing those right now. The first thing, I have the Soul Children Friction. The Soul Children's a 74 Sonic Press. That's just $10. And Stu Gardner and the Sanctified Sound, a 74 USOG, $17.50 on that one. $17.50 on that one. Let me refresh over here. These blankets were very popular. I started bringing them in earlier before Christmas. Pink Floyd's really cool. It looks like a concert tour poster. Looks like a Dark Side of the Moon concert tour poster. It's a queen size Sherpa fleece blanket, and those are $79.99. That includes part of your $8 shipping, even though it will probably be shipped separately because it's such a large item. I include it basically as free shipping on those. $79.99. Adam Bernardi on fiction. That's sold to Adam Bernardi. TSO Houston, that is Trans-Siberian Orchestra Houston, wants a Pink Floyd. You got it. Let's lay that one over here. I've got 3 more of those. I have 3 more of those if anybody else is interested. And don't forget, I got Megadeth and Iron Maiden as well. Okay, that's done. And then over here, we got Nick Dahmer on Stu. That's sold. And then we have the Rance Allen Group, I Feel Like Going On, 1750, a 1980 U.S. private press gospel funk. I'm going to start trying to show books and coins at the same time because Tanner's got me quite the book selection over here. Probably going to be 14 and $9.99 books. We got a lot of cool stuff. I've got to move some stuff so I can walk to them easier. Here's the biggest quantity of bullion I have in stock. These are vintage, uncirculated, 85 American Prospector Englehart rounds, $88. We've sold a bunch of them. I have several left. I've at least got 20, 40, 60. I probably have about 100 of them left. They're $88 a piece. As many as you want. Englehart Silver Prospectors, $88 a piece. Adam Bernardi on William Bell. That's sold to Adam Bernardi. And we have Junior Thomas and the Volcanoes, Beware. That's a 2021 mono, orange vinyl reissue, $12.50 for Junior Thomas and the Volcanoes. Next is Frank Derrick, Total Experience. You betcha. This is sealed $17.50. The next lot that's coming in is Pink Floyd. I think you already know that's up for pre-order. Alice in Chains is up for pre-order. And then the next 2 are the Rolling Stones, Elvis, and Saxon. Okay? That's the next 3. Rolling Stones, Elvis, and Saxon. And right now, Pink Floyd and Alice in Chains is up for pre-order. So that's our next 5 that's going to be coming in. Michael Rudolph wants a Prospector. Jay Neutral wants a Prospector. $88. $88, okay? There's that. And the easiest way to do the bars, I was doing a random bar, no peeking, no looking. I'm about to start showing them individually where y'all can claim what certain bar you may want, okay? Because there's some pretty cool ones in here. I just bought 50 at one time from one person. They were all just 1-ounce bars. We have the Bears for $5. This is a half-off vinyl crate, no more, no less. Malcolm Kipe Lit, a 2006 U.S. gray marble instrumental down-tempo experimental. That's just $10. And Blues Boy Willie, Be Who, that is sealed for $5, okay? There is that. So let me see what I first got over here for this. Okay, and then I have this, okay? So let's see how many I have like this. Okay, there's that and these. Okay, so yeah, here's two for example. So if you want these, let me know like what's the design. They're all $88. Very cool. An art bar, Andrew Jackson Presidential, that's $88. And so is this American flag, the Thin Blue Line Police. That's $88. And I'll do one generic. This is National Refiners. And those are all $88. So Andrew Jackson, American flag, Thin Blue Line, and National Refiners. Next comment is Bears Detail. The Bears is a gold stamp promo. Primitive Man Recordings, the half-off price is $5, and that's a white label. It's 1987. Adam Bernardi on Tip, and I think he meant Kip. What was Tip? Tip was what? What was that? Michael Rudolph on the American flag bar for $88. What was Kip or Tip, Adam Bernardi? And then also in the half off is Bill Fay Group, Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. That's sealed. Half off of $44.99 makes that $22.50. It's a 2006 album recorded between 78 and 82. It's a legendary British folk artist. $22.50 on that. Adam Bernardi on Kip. That is this one right here. That's sold to Adam Bernardi. And we have Kool and the Gang Fresh, a 12-inch single, $7.50. Let's grab our first handful of books over here and see what we got, okay? Let me move my trash can, and I've moved my crates. Let me just grab these right here. And these are all going to be $14.99, all right? Let's see what we got here. A lot of biographies. All these are from Fred Goodwin's personal collection. Mega Blast on Cool in the Game. Thank you on that. Here's a few more options on silver. We've got National Refiners, Ampex, and then AG, like the chemical element. That's by Elemental. This one has the Morgan Silver Dollar on it. And then this one is Great Panther Silver Unlimited. These are all 999 silver bars. Or if you don't care and you just want any one, they're all 88 bucks a piece, okay? I'm running low. I've got maybe one more handful of those to show. I figured late tonight we could pick and choose. The Unknown Visitor is $7.50. Did I pull Coin the Game for Mega Blast? I did, and these are $14.99. Hardback books from Fred Goodwin's collection. Jean Arthur, The Actress Nobody Knew by John Aller. Also, Fred Astaire, Putting on His Top Hat, just for you, a biography by Bill Adler. Very cool looking book here. Brando, Marlon Brando, the biography by Peter Manso. That's a lot of reading there. It's got a little bit of a tear in the dust jacket, but Brando, $14.99. And then the great one, Jackie Gleason, Life and Legend of Jackie. That's a biography. And King of Comedy, The Life and Art of Jerry Lewis. Those are all $14.99. Next is Thin Blue Line. I only had one of those, and it already sold. I only had one of those that already sold. And then, sorry I missed the title. Price on Frank Derrick. The Frank Derrick Total Experience was sealed, $17.50. Originals from 1974 go for around $1,000, $17.50 on that. Jackie Gleason book sold to Tracy. Jerry Lee Lewis book, or Jerry Lewis, not Jerry Lee. Jerry Lewis also sold to Tracy Songer. I have Shaka Khan, I Feel For You. Shaka Khan is $5, and Billy Ocean, Loverboy. Billy Ocean is $5, and Evelyn King, Let It Loose. Evelyn King is $12.50, 1982. And then Baby Woodrose, Live at Gutter Island. I think this was kind of pricey. Yeah, it's a 2003 Garage Sock, half off of $59.99. How much, Shad? Half off of $59.99. Good gosh. Okay, let's see what other bars I have in here. All right, let's see what other bars I have. Silver, silver, silver. Silver Mania in 2024, 2025. We'll remember this. They'll be talking about these months and days for a long time. All right, here's some more cool collectible silver. I got a 1 ounce Buffalo. I've got James Madison, and I had Andrew Jackson earlier. So Buffalo, Madison, 88. And then these just look like name brand bars here. We have Golden State Mint. We have American Eagle Silver Bar. It says literally American Eagle with an eagle. Another Golden State Mint and Refco Metals. Those are all $88 a piece there. Spikey McVeigh wants the Frank Derrick. This is sold to Spikey McVeigh. I'm assuming Jim B's passing. Jim B on Baby Woodrose. And then Lewis Kulik was second on that one. And we have Tina Marie, Love Girl, 12-inch single. That's $5. Little Richard, Lifetime Friend. Little Richard's $5. And let me pause before we finish the crate and grab another handful of what? Books. And let's do 4 more here. These are $14.99. We have another book on Jerry Lewis. This is Jerry Lewis in Person with Herb Gluck. Jane Mansfield in the American 50s by Martha Saxton. She had a Seinfeld reference. Myrna Loy, Being and Becoming. And then Dorothy Lamour, My Side of the Road, as told by Dick McInes. Those are all $14.99. Michael Rudolph wants the Buffalo Bar, and that's sold to him for $88. Thank you on that one. And then over here we got Billy Ocean and Shaka Khan, and that's sold to Christina Curtis and Christina Curtis. And then the other sealed record that we had in here was this one right here. Bill Fay Group, Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow, a 2006 U.S. This was recorded between 78 and 82. He's a legendary British folk artist, $22.50 on that. And then we have Teens and Little Richard. Tina Marie and Little Richard sold to Christina Curtis. Those are sold. We have Price Sultan, Lights On. Price Sultan is $7.50. And Melodious Jazz, I never get that word out the first try. Melodious Jazz Melodious Jazz, $5. Utopia is $7.50, and Stephen Steele's 2 VG Plus $6. And then I've got a whole page here. Of course, we can cut these up and perforate them out. Sunshine Minning. And there's a really cool YouTube video. There's a watch collector. He has a big YouTube following, like millions of subscribers. He went down to the Sunshine Mint in Florida and did a factory tour. If you're into silver and bullion, it's worth it to watch. It's amazing watching them make all this stuff. I mean, they've got like just incredible amounts of bullion there where they make these bars. Sunshine Mint out of Florida. All those are $88. Lewis Kulik said his BO earlier was for Billy Ocean. Okay, we need to change Billy Ocean then. He was, in fact, first on this. So, Christina, I need to give this to Lewis Kulik. He was first on Billy Ocean. Thank you, Lewis Kulik. And sorry I messed up there. Michael got a Buffalo bar. And then Mega Blast on MJ for the melodious jazz. And I'll put D on my list. Hey, I told y'all before long, we'll have a lot bar for literally everything. Let me get all the silver that's sold here lined up. We're expecting a lot more. I mean, we're trying to close some deals on some pretty valuable lots of silver. Some of it's like going to be huge, gigantic bars we're just going to try to flip. And then I've got a couple people ready. They saw it hit $80 again. They saw it hit $80 and they went, oh, should I sell? Then it dipped and then they got worried. Now it's hit $80 again and they're like, okay, I'm finally going to sell. But what's crazy is I have a lot of people selling and then they're going right back to buying more. So they've kind of sold out and then they're going like right back to buying more again, which is, you know, they're taking their profit and then reinvesting. All right, let's go through some more books at $14.99. Here's more books for $14.99. We have Clint Eastwood. Go ahead, punk, make my day. This is some kind of quote book from Clint Eastwood. All these are $14.99. Merchant of Dreams, Louis B. Mayer, MGM, and The Secret Hollywood by Charles Hagman. All these are Fred Goodwin's books at $14.99. The Story of Roy Rogers and Dale Evans, Happy Trails. High Society, The Life of Grace Kelly. And then Bogey, The Films of Humphrey Bogart. And we have Robert Redford. Robert Redford, a photographic portrait of the man in his films. He just recently passed away. Rest in peace, Robert Redford. All those books are $14.99. All right, I'm going to do a quick recap of these. Let me go grab the next handful of silver. Silver futures all over. You can't predict it. You just, if you're buying for the long term, you just got to do what they call dollar cost average, just like you would do with stocks or bonds, and just buy some high, buy some low, buy some, it's going to go down. Next lot is going to go up. If you can generate 10, 20% over the next several years, you're probably going to be beating most stocks. Maybe, I mean, some of this, if you bought it 5 years ago for me, 200 or 300% return, 150% return. These are assay. Nadir, these are also $88. That's another silver bar. Nadir, they're on an assay card, and I have 3 of those. And I think that's all my bars. And then the only rounds I have left are these right here, okay, which are the prospectors. And if you want an exact quote, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 9 loose prospectors. Oh, here's some more bars. My bad. These are name brand. Johnson Matthey. Johnson Matthey. Okay. Those are good. Nadir, so do Michael Rudolph. And there's that. Okay, we need to recap this half-off crate one more time. Right here. Oh. Yeah, I think a lot of people are selling that's got like that's doubled their money and tripled their money, and now they're starting to buy again at $88 and $90 an ounce for premium Eagles. Could see Eagles one day trading for $125 a piece. We're not too close. They're 94. They're wholesale 94 for a roll of 20. So we're not too far away from seeing $125 silver Eagles, which is crazy. That's almost $100 more than what they were in 2019. All right, let's read through these again. Half off, no more, no less. That is truly all the bars. Now, I do have some cool commemorative coins coming up next, and, of course, more books. Motown Sound Space Dance, 78 US, $10 on that. RJ's latest Arrival, Truly Yours, $5 on that. And we have RPM, $5 on RPM. Leon Everett, Goodbye the King of Rock and Roll, a tribute to Elvis Presley. $5 on that. Confunction, Mr. Tambourine Man, VG condition, $5. Beanie Maupin, Moonscapes, a VG Plus, now just $15, was $29.99. Oliver Sane, Blue Max, VG Plus, $7.50. Tony Sylvester and New Ingredient, Magic Touch, VG Plus, $12.50. Lo Nuevo de los Relapangeos. As you can tell, I'm not very good with Spanish. VG Plus, $12.50. Saturday night at the Uptown, a 64 mono, VG Plus, $5. This is VG Plus, $5, and that was Lee Chandler, The Lovin' People, $5 on that. No Pointer, All My Reasons, VG, $5 on No Pointer. Delegation, The Promise of Love, EX, $16.50. The Rance Allen Group, I Feel Like Going On, a 1980 U.S. Press, First Press Gospel Funk, $17.50. Junior Thomas and the Volcanoes, Beware. It's still available, Matt Lawson, $12.50, orange vinyl. It is. It is. What was the Elvis Presley? Regina heard Elvis and she woke up from her nap. Leon Everett, Goodbye the King of Rock and Roll, a tribute to Elvis, $5. Next thing is Blues Boy Willie, Be Who. Blues Boy Willie is sealed for $5. And The Bears, that's still available for $5. Also, The Unknown Visitor, that's $7.50. Evelyn King is an 82 US, $12.50. And Bill Fay Group, Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. This is sealed for $22.50. Matt Lawson does want this one right here. That's sold to Matt Lawson. Michael Butler on BBW, Blues Boy Willie. Danny Thomason was next on that one. This is Price Suction, Lights On, $7.50. Price Sultan, not Suction, $7.50 on that one. And then Adventures in Utopia for $7.50. And we have Stephen Stills too. Folks, that's Stephen Stills from Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Let me grab another handful of books, okay? Let me lay this right over here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Down. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, and Regina said, I'll take anything you've got written the word Elvis on it. I'll take it. If it looks like Elvis, sounds like Elvis, somebody trying to be Elvis, Elvis himself, Elvis on a good day, Elvis on a bad day, Regina's like, I'm in, Chad. I'll take it. Let's go through some more here. These are $14.99. I got a few more books here. Let's show these right here. There was a Roy Rogers book. We got Elvis, the official collector's edition, $14.99. Hollywood Kids, Child Stars of the Silver Screen from 1903 to present, $14.99. The Revere's, William Faulkner. This is a paperback. We'll do that for $9.99. And this is See the Smash Cinema movie starring Steve McQueen. That's $9.99. And then Clint Eastwood, a biography by Richard Scheichel, $14.99. And My Days with Errol Flynn. I have his autograph back here behind me. That's a tough one. That requires a LOA from JSA, $14.99. Michael Rudolph does want the Roy Rogers, Dale Evans book right here, Happy Trails. That's sold to Michael Rudolph for $14.99. Okay, and then there's Regina, an Elvis book for $14.99. She probably wants it. Oh, that was a great neck adjustment. Holy moly, that felt good. I'm going to make that paperback. That's Steve McQueen, $9.99. All right, let me make sure I got everything out of this box over here. 47 commemoratives. And then over here, silver dollar. Okay. Here. Okay. Regina on Elvis. All right, this is sold to Regina for $14.99. All right, so current in-stock silver. I got 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and 20, 40. Let me make sure that's what all these are. Yep. Yep. Yeah, these are all. So there's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and 20, 140. 2, 4, 6, 8. I got 149 silver prospectors left. 149 1-ounce silver prospectors left. I got $88 a piece on those are 88. These are 88. The 1-ounce silver bars. Great Panther, the Morgan Silver Dollar, Elemental, Ampex, National Refiners, Andrew Jackson, 3 Johnson Mattheys, Nadir, another Johnson Matthey, Golden State, American Eagle, Golden State, Refco, James Madison, and then the Sunshine bars. Okay, that's those. Chad, what was the Elvis record you had last week that was yellow colored vinyl? That was probably the Elvis Canadian Tribute. Those were from Canada, 1978, and they're colored vinyl. That's the first stack of unsold books. Gene Arthur, Fred Astaire, Marlon Brando, Jerry Lee Lewis, just Jerry Lewis. Sorry, I throw that Lee in there all the time. Myrna Lloyd, Dorothy Lamour, Clint Eastwood. I can't believe the Clint Eastwoods hadn't sold. High Society, Grace Kelly, Humphrey Bogart, and Robert Redford. Those are kind of surprised I hadn't sold. Let's go grab another handful. And then these here, I'm going to start a new stack with these until I run out of space, and then we'll go get some more. And I'll put those on the cart to take it up front. I don't know if I want to do a bundle deal on these. I don't know if I want to do a bundle deal on these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'll do the rest of those for $100 if anybody wants them. $5 a piece for everything left in the crate. Honestly, how could you say no? Honestly. I mean, if you're saying no, I'm asking how could you say no? Okay. It was Loving You by Elvis. I think that was a new vinyl music on vinyl pressing, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let me grab some of these over here. And if this bundle sells, I'll show another crate of vinyl. We got to sell this bundle. I'll do another crate. If this bundle doesn't sell, probably just going to show books and coins for about the next hour, maybe longer. So it's up to somebody to continue the show. There's 111 people watching right now. If someone's got a crisp $100 bill, that's your ticket. That's your ticket to extend the show. A crisp $100 bill. Okay? All the Eagles the same one sold earlier. And then over here, can you still get that album? I can. Yes. Are all the Eagles there the same? Are all Eagles there the same? Same ones sold earlier. The American Silver Eagles we sold earlier were, some of them were the same, some were different. They're all sold out. I have none left. They're all sold out. I have none left. All sold, none left. They were mostly different. Yeah. They were mostly different. They were random rolls they were put together. I think I can still, I'm trying to figure out what the title was, though. I know what it was. It was a music on vinyl press. But I don't remember what it was. The Prospectors are 1985, uncirculated, new, $88. Those are what it's in the tubes. I'm going to mute my mic for 1 second. Jim B said it's called Loving You. Okay. Jim B said there's one on his invoice. We need to take that off and give it to Levi Hilton. Please make a note of that and give it to Ed. Okay? Please make a note of that and give it to Ed. So what's on the table are 1 ounce Prospectors. They're all the same. They're dated 1985. They're $88 a piece. They're uncirculated 1 ounce silver Prospectors, $88 a piece. Okay? There's that. Okay. Let's grab another handful of books. These over here look very interesting. Let me keep going through this one stack, though. Peter Lawford, The Man Who Kept Secrets. All these are $14.99. Clint Eastwood Interviews. That's the third of the Clint Eastwood books. Hollywood, The Golden Era, Jack Spears. And Mayberry Memories, the Andy Griffin Show photo album. Mayberry Memories, the Andy Griffin Show photo album. This is $14.99. Tracy Songer wants Peter Lawford for $14.99. That's done. There's the Andy Griffin Show. And then here's 2 vintage paperbacks. HUD by Larry McCurdy and The Ballad of Cat Ballou. Those are cool vintage paperbacks. $9.99 on those. The Ballad of Cat Ballou and HUD, Larry McMurdy. And there's William Faulkner, The Rivieres. Okay? Obviously, it's the Andy Griffin Show. If you've ever heard it or seen it, you know. If you think it's Griffith, then most people would agree you've been misled most of your life and you've been fed incorrect and false information. Sorry to break the news to you. I've told a lot of people a lot of bad news over the years. All right, let's go through these coins. Not these. Not those. All right, these are awesome. These I can do for $75. These are $75. These are 90% and they're a little less. So these are awesome U.S. commemoratives. So these are 90% and they're a little less than an ounce of silver. But they're real U.S. government minted coins. These are all $75 each. This is the U.S. Capitol Bicentennial Silver Dollar. U.S. Capitol. We'll do these one at a time. The Bicentennial Capitol Silver Dollar. I mean, these are very nice, well-made coins. $75 on these. U.S. Capitol. United States of America, $1. These are all business strikes. 90% silver, $75. Okay. We'll start with the U.S. Capitol for $75. Bicentennial silver dollar. Sold to Michael Rudolph. Okay, awesome American government minted coins here. Can you slip an Andy autograph in that book for $14.99? It's not the Rock and Roots, Don. I bid to pick that one. Andy Griffin check and Mayberry Memories book for $90. So the Andy Griffin check is $95. The book is $14.99. So that's $110. I'm at $110. We have National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Commemorative Coin. National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Commemorative Coin. $75. This is a National Law Enforcement Officers Commemorative Memorial. We're going to do these just like one at a time so you can see what you're buying. There's the next one. National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, 1997. There's the COA, there's the box, and there's the tray, and there's the slipcase. So that is the next one. Law Enforcement, $75. United States 2002 U.S. Military Academy. U.S. Military Academy. This is for West Point, I'm pretty sure. This is, 1902 to 2002 West Point 200-year bicentennial celebration. This has the COA with it. That is the Military Academy, $75 on that one. So the Law Enforcement sold to Michael Rudolph. Adam Bernardi got West Point, and I actually have one more of those. I have another one if anybody wants that one, okay? Maybe Michael. This is pretty cool. Yellowstone National Commemorative Coin Program. Yellowstone National Park, also $75. Yellowstone, $19.99. Box and paperwork. I'm just going to leave it in there. There's that. And this is, let's see, that goes in here, and then there's the COA. Okay? So we got over here, we have Bicentennial, the Military Academy. The other one sold to Michael Rudolph, and Adam Bernardi wants Yellowstone. These are $75 each. Here is the Smithsonian Institution 150th Anniversary Commemorative Coin. Smithsonian. Very cool one there. Smithsonian 1846-1996. COA box and paper, $75 on the Smithsonian 150th Anniversary. Sold to Adam Bernardi. Also $75 is the Library of Congress. Awesome. Library of Congress Commemorative Coin Program, United States Mint. Library of Congress, 1800 to 200. 1800 to 200. 1800 to 2000. Library of Congress. Cynthia, you were second on the Smithsonian. Adam Bernardi wants the Library of Congress. That's sold to him for $75. Then Michael Rudolph. Let's see what this one is. National Community Service. National Community Service. Cool design. National Community Service, 1996. Uncirculated silver dollar, $75. $75. Box and paperwork. And then this one sounds really cool. Commemorative Community is sold to Adam Bernardi for $75. And then check this out. Lewis and Clark Bicentennial Silver Dollar. Lewis and Clark, that sounds awesome. Very cool. $75 on Lewis and Clark. Box and paperwork. Cynthia was next. First one on this one gets Lewis and Clark. $75 for the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial. Sold to Adam Bernardi for $75, and then Michael Rudolph. Let me go grab some more. Here are the next handful. Coming at you right now. I have, for $75, the following. Smithsonian National Museum of the American Indian, American Buffalo Commemorative Coin, $75. Smithsonian National Museum of the American Indian, Buffalo. Whoa, that's sweet. $75 on that. Smithsonian National Museum of the American Indian, American Buffalo Commemorative. 1997, the Botanic Garden Commemorative, $75. 1997, Botanic Gardens, Botanic, 75 on that. Box and paperwork, Cynthia is first on the Smithsonian. All right, let me go ahead and take this stack of books and already sold coins in here so we can start a new pile. Those are going to go right there. All right, awesome. And then here we go. $75 Smithsonian is sold to Cynthia, then Michael Rudolph. There's the Botanical Gardens. 2022 preset. I don't think so. Michael gets Garden for 75, and then Marine Corps, the 230 anniversary. Marines, the few, the proud. Nice with the Iwo Jima flag raising there. 75 on the Marines, 230th anniversary. That is $75. And the United States Constitution coins. 1987, silver dollar. 1987 on this one. Constitution, those are always popular. 75 on that one. That's the United States Constitution. Box and paperwork. Ada Bernardi on the Marines for $75. There's the Constitution. Ooh, Thomas Alva Edison. That's cool. Thomas Edison. Proof silver dollar. This is a proof. Thomas Edison. Awesome. That's a proof on that one. These are all $75. We have over here the Constitution, sold to Adam Bernardi, then Michael Rudolph. There's Thomas Edison, also sold to Adam Bernardi. And then here is another West Point. Here is another West Point. 2002 West Point. If you missed out on that one earlier, there's another one. Cynthia Herdron, third on Edison. This one's still available for $75. And then if you missed out on community service earlier, there's another community service. And if you missed out on the Botanical Gardens, there's another one of those. Okay, I'll show that one. Let me go ahead and get another handful. But there's backups on some of those other ones that you may have slightly missed out on just a moment ago. So take advantage of those. All right. And it looks like we're going to have some backups from some of y'all, Cynthia and Michael and Adam. Some of y'all might have been second and third. I'd say just pay attention because you're probably going to get a shot at another one over here, okay? You're probably going to get another shot when I go through some of these right here, okay? But first, we have Cynthia on community service, and then Michael was next. So there's another West Point. There is the Botanical Gardens. And then Constitution, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 more Constitutions. Okay, I'll show those in just a second. And those in just a second, okay? So there's 4 more United States Constitution. Let's take a quick look at those. United States Constitution coins. 1987. They might be, let me see if these are different years. That one's 87. And we'll give that one right now to Michael. Let me see if these are different years. I don't think they are. Let's see here. Yeah, these are all 87. That's pretty much the same thing there. So I've got 3 more of those. Botanical Gardens, West Point. And then let's do something else I have a duplicate of here. So here is 2 more chances at Lewis and Clark if you missed out earlier. Or maybe you want a second one. Lewis and Clark, bicentennial, silver dollar. No, that's a Buffalo. Oh, that's got the wrong slipcase. Unless there's something on the reverse. Hold on a second. That's why I've been checking all of them. Well, it has a Buffalo on the back. It's not Lewis and Clark, though. This is not Lewis and Clark. Let me leave this one over here. That's another Buffalo. I'm going to leave that slipcase over here so that I don't get mixed up. And let me see if this is a Lewis and Clark. This is, in fact, a Lewis and Clark. It is. That's a Buffalo. It just has the wrong slipcase on it. Making sure I check all these. So that's Buffalo. That's Lewis and Clark. Here's one I have not had. The U.S. Capitol Bicentennial. This is the U.S. Capitol Bicentennial. Haven't had that one yet. So the Capitol, $75. And here's the current ones I still have left. Capitol, 3 more Constitutions, Botanical Gardens, West Point, Lewis and Clark, and the Buffalo. Capitol sold to Adam Bernardi. This is the Smithsonian. I think Cynthia maybe missed out on this one earlier. Here is the Smithsonian. Yep, there's another one of those, 1846, 1996. Box and paperwork, another Smithsonian. And then if you missed out on Edison earlier, here's another Thomas Edison. There's another Tom. Well, let's double check it. There's another Thomas Edison. Yep. A proof. There's another Edison. All right. Cynthia Herdron wants a Smithsonian. And we have Leif Erikson. Leif Erikson. Very cool. Leif Erikson. 2000 United States Mint. Box and paper. And then these red boxes. Actually, let me put this in here. Leif Erikson sold to Michael Rudolph. These are the 88 Olympics. I think the Olympics start next month. This is the 88 Olympics. Same thing, $75. Okay, so there's those. And let me see what's left in here. Band on the Run. Especially if we have any more we hadn't had yet. Band on the Run. I bet this is... Oh, wait a second. All right, Olympics sold to Adam Bernardi and Don Nicole. I have Michael Rudolph third. Let me take these right in here. Band on the Run. This one don't have a slipcase. Let me see what this one is. This one that don't have a slipcase, I bet, is Lewis and Clark. Yep. There's Lewis and Clark, and there's the slipcase that goes with it. So I have a missing slipcase for a Buffalo, I guess. But there's Lewis and Clark. These are cool. I have 3 of these, 4 of them, Eisenhower. The Eisenhower Centennials. These open like this. Very cool coin here. General and President Eisenhower kind of got a double feature going on there. Those are very cool. Green box, paperwork, 1990. I got 4 Eisenhowers. Ike, and we have Lewis and Clark sold MT Matte for $75. Ike's are $75, and Adam Bernardi wants one. There's 3 more of those. And then there's another Constitution. There's another Marines if you missed out on the first one. Yep, there's another Marines if you missed out on the first one. And then another Constitution. And here is another Leif Erikson. That's a different one. That's a different one. This is in collaboration with the Central Bank of Iceland. Ike, another one sold to Michael Rudolph. There's 2 left. There's another Leif Erikson, and then United States Constitution. Yeah, these are also, all the Constitutions are 1987. Okay, still got at least one more handful. Adam Bernardi gets the other Leif Erikson. And so we have United States Constitution. There's that one. And that one. And then there's a Constitution. Let's see here. We have, that's the Buffalo. Okay, Constitution, 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 Botanical. So West Point, wow, still got a Thomas Edison left. West Point, Edison, Botanical Gardens. There is another Lewis and Clark. Yeah, there is another Lewis and Clark. Marines and Ike's. Okay, and these are all 87 Constitutions over here. -5 for slipcase, take. Pass, but thank you. Okay, these have an extra coin with them. There's another Constitution, and then Library of Congress. If you were second or missed out on those, there's another Library of Congress. Okay. Library of Congress. And then these have a bonus coin with them. So Tanner wanted me to trade this. Tanner wanted me to check this. And, whoops. Let me check this bonus coin. Some of these have 2 coins in them, so let me check, see what's going on here. You can, because I think there was somebody back up on the other one. Okay, this one, the half has no silver content. Okay, it's just a clad. Really cool though, $80. We'll say $80 on these. It's got a bonus $50 that's a proof. 1995 Civil War Battlefield. So that's still 90% silver, a little less than an ounce. And then this here, you get the $50, which is just a clad. But I got 3 of them. Civil War Battlefields. I've got 3 at $80 a piece on those. I think those demand a little bit more because of the bonus coin in there. There's 1, a little box damage on that one. There's 2, and there's 3. Okay, so let's swap out. Let's give Don a Constitution. Okay, now that second Olympic set, Michael, are you okay getting one of those? Michael, are you okay getting one of those? Because that was the putback, and you were 3rd in line. So give Michael Rudolph, unless he says otherwise, that second Olympics, $80, and this is, whoop, I've only got 2 Civil Wars, my bad. I've only got 2 Civil Wars, and those are both sold. Michael, are you okay with a little bit of a tear on the box right there? This 3rd one is actually, so give him that one, Mike, give Rudolph the backup Olympics. Don, I've got you down for Constitution. Those 2 are so. This one's actually different. Let me make sure this isn't silver. This one has another bonus. This is, in fact, same thing, $80. This is Columbus Quincentenary, which means 400 years. Christopher Columbus. This one's also $80. That's a double coin, okay? So that's Columbus. $80 on that one. And let me check this 3rd one that has a bonus coin. And I wish they hadn't have put tape on these. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we can't put tape on stuff like this. Michael Rudolph gets Columbus for $80. And let me see if this one... paperwork. Yeah, $80. Same thing. Double coin. World Cup 1994. World Cup, and the slipcase has a little bit of a tear in the back. That's the last double one. World Cup, $80. Is that all of them? That's all of them. That's it. That's all the... Whoa! I take that back. I've got one more. Nice. A cool one. 75 on this one. 75 on this one. First in Flight, 2003, the Wright brothers. I bet the back's got a cool design. Yeah. The Wright brothers. First in Flight. Okay. Matt wants LC2. What was LC2? LC2 was Library of Congress. The Wright brothers sold to Adam Minardi for $75. What was LC2, MT Matt? So one more time. Here's everything that's left in the U.S. commemoratives. I have Library of Congress. I have Eisenhower, the Marines, Lewis and Clark, maybe another Lewis and Clark for MT Matt. I bet a second Lewis and Clark. He wants the second Lewis and Clark. He already got one earlier. The Botanical Gardens, Thomas Alva Edison, the U.S. Military West Point Academy. Those are 75. These are all U.S. Constitution, a very popular design. Let me show you what these look like. These are 70, and all these are 75 along with this. Yeah, all these Constitutions are 1987. There's the front, We the People. There's the back, the Founding Fathers. There's those. And then there's one more that I don't have a slipcase for, and that is the Buffalo, which I forgot what that was originally called. The American Buffalo Commemorative. Yeah. the American Buffalo commemorative. Awesome coin here. American Buffalo commemorative. Proof. Nice. Same design that's on a Buffalo nickel, just enlarged for this. Okay. All right. And then the World Cup double. What if I make that one 75? I'll make the World Cup 75 to match all the other ones to get it sold. Okay, and that is all of the new silver that came in today. We're sold out of Silver Eagles. We have those prospectors left. We have these that I bought from somebody today, and we have silver bars. That's it. We've sold a big chunk of it. Probably by the end of the week, especially if I do a show on Sunday, I doubt there's anything left, especially if the market moves up. Even if it stays flat, these are all going to be about the same. Okay? And World Cup sold for $75. That sold for $75 to Adam. There we go. I'll put that over here in the stack. Okay, so those are taken care of. Awesome to have U.S. minted coins. And I think we're done. I don't think we're done with the show, though. Who else is still watching, and what do you want to see? Do you want to see some big books over here? Looks like we got a bunch of big coffee table books for 19, 14, and 24. Some big ones, some nice ones. Of course, no more vinyl tonight. We have filled up our 8th and final crate. We've sold all the Van Halen lights. We've sold all the King Diamond. Well, we hadn't sold all the King Van Halens. We've shown them. We've tagged the first 20. And there's that. Okay? Can I get a silver bar? You pick. Sure thing. Tracy says, I'm here to buy books. I will give you a Johnson Matthey. That is a name brand, great bar to have right here. Johnson Matthey. That's a well-known refinery. Danny put civil. Was that a claim, a statement, or a complaint? I wonder how many ounces we end up selling tonight. I got to add it up later. I'm very curious. I know we sold quite a bit, though. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. MT Matt, we actually, all the bars you sold to us, we sold them all. One person, Tanner's dad. We sold them all to Tanner's dad. So shout out Roy Boy, Ron Hackett. Tanner's dad bought, when you sent all that in, we just went ahead and sold it. When we get abnormally large amounts of silver traded and sold in, we have to try to sell them within 10 minutes if we can. Like that deal I was working on before the sale. I was trying to buy and sell, 15 7-pound bars. And I basically try to have them sold before I buy them. Otherwise, you can get in a bundle. You can get in a bind quickly. So you can just end up losing. And it's just unnecessary to take large risk like that. We're not seriously in the bullion business on a day-to-day basis. Some people take these huge risks and they have to buy and try to lock stuff in. I just try to get it sold before we even have it. Now, if we get individual stuff like this, I try to bring it here so we can retail it. But a lot of it, you know, if we're buying, you know, 1,500 ounces right now from somebody, we have to try to get it sold before we buy it. And we have a few people that I think might want to buy that kind of quantity, but most want to buy 4 or 5 at a time, which is understandable. Definitely understandable. You know, only want to buy 4 or 5 or maybe 10 or 20 at a time. So it's really hard to find somebody that wants to buy 1,500 ounces at once. So we either have to go to other dealers, or we have a couple people that's like, I've had a couple people over the years, I'll tell them I've got 1,500 ounces and they'll say, just send me a bill. I mean, it's just like, wow, okay. Now, since prices have got high, they're a little bit more, you have to double check with them a little bit more, but a lot of them will still buy it. It's crazy. The Genesis Book of Movies, Facts and Feats. These are all $14.99 unless I say otherwise. We have All the Stars in Heaven, Louis B. Myers, MGM. That's $14.99. Any Case Pocket Knives. Not tonight. I got plenty, but not tonight. Should have some of those Sunday if I end up doing a show. The Films of Gary Cooper. All these are $14.99. Joan Crawford, The Ultimate Star, Alexander Walker. Going to go through some books. The History of Western Movies, Leonard Matthews. Great Television Series, Jeff Roven. And we'll do this one for, I'll do this one for $14.92. $14.99 as well. The Musical Films, Astaire Dancing. Big, giant Fred Astaire book there. These are all $14.99. I do have a 1 ounce gold as well. I still have 1 ounce gold if anybody's interested. I need to double check that one, but I have 1 ounce gold as well. Let me pull up a current quote on that. Should be like, well, I'll wait. 1 ounce gold. 1 ounce gold American Eagle is $4,700. Yeah, $4,700. 1 ounce gold American Eagle, $4,700. Jackie Reynolds on the Astaire book at $14.99. Thank you. And then let's keep going through this stack. Thanks for those sticking late as I go through stack after stack over here of books. Eventually I'll have to clear them off and restack them, but we'll go through them all. The Saga of Judge Roy Bean, The Law of the West Pecos, Vinegaroon. James Dee, The Mutant King, a biography by David Dalton. Clint Eastwood, filmmaker and star, Edward Gallifant. A Hell of a War, Douglas Fairbanks Jr. And Tom Brokaw, A Long Way from Home, Growing Up in the American Heartland, Tom Brokaw. Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? The freedom to move whenever you start, it's like magic. And the Douglas Fairbanks sold to Tracy Songer. And then we had Sheldon Leonard and The Show Goes On, Broadway and Hollywood Adventures. Buster Keaton, Cut to the Chase, a biography. And Best of the West. Looks like a cool book here. Best of the West. Do you believe in magic? And the rhythm is groovy. Carl Malden, When Do I Start? A memoir with Carla Malden. Superman on Television, a comprehensive viewer guide to the daring exploits of Superman as presented in the TV series. The Life and Times of John Wayne, fully illustrated. The Duke, a life in picture. And we have Way Out West, Jane and Michael Stern. Fred had a lot of stuff, didn't he? Years and years later, and we're still going through his stuff. I'm sure some of y'all have collections like this too, but I mean, this man had tractor trailer trucks full of stuff. Semis, just completely full. We've been showing his stuff for years now. Brando, the unauthorized biography of Charles Hickman. He had, what, millions, tens of millions of dollars invested in his collection. James Dean, The Mutant King. Dean and Me, Jerry Lewis. John Parker, 5 for Hollywood. Walt Disney, an American Original by Bob Thomas. A lot of Hollywood and movie and American icon biographies here. The Duke here, Life and Pictures. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's more of a picture book. Don't hesitate for me to ask to flip through these. That's typically what sells them, is if y'all ask me to flip through them, I don't mind at all. Melinda Daring on the Walt Disney book. That's so to Melinda. These are all $14.99 unless I say otherwise. And the Superman looks like an informational book. Superman on Television. So it's basically a book about all the Superman appearances on TV through that point. The Duke, A Life in Pictures. That is sold to Jackie Reynolds. And then here we go. The World I Lived In, George Jessel. I'll start putting that one back there. Disney, The Mouse Betrayed, Greed, Corruption, and Children at Risk. Disney. Peekaboo, The Story of Veronica Lake. And Ally McGraw, an autobiography, Moving Pictures. Tracy Songer does want the Superman on Television. Okay? I'm going to chug some water right quick. I haven't had any tonight, and I desperately need some. So let me knock this out right quick. So Melinda, an American Gold Silver Eagle. This contains 1 pure ounce of gold. So it's more than an ounce. The purity is 90%. So this weighs a little over more than a troy ounce. Technically 1.9. And so when you do the conversion, it has 1 pure ounce of gold. The whole coin is not pure gold. It's 90%, but there's more than an ounce of gold here. So it equals out to 1 pure ounce. So it's 1 pure ounce. And I'm checking prices over here from Mint Distributors, which has right at, earlier tonight they were $47.90. I'm showing right there what the price I use, comp. A random date, which this one's a 1998, 4,700. So yeah, it equals out to 1 pure ounce. Okay, sell me a bookcase. I can't help you there. I don't deal in furniture. Let's grab another handful here. We'll get at least halfway through these stacks tonight, as long as y'all keep buying them. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. This is pretty cool. Little dusty, but cowboy movie posters. I flipped through one of these. I mean, look at all the posters here. Some of these are very rare. Some of them worth thousands of dollars. $14.99 movie posters. John Wayne's The Alamo. John Wayne's The Alamo. David Brinkley, a Memroar. Collector Guide, color collector guide posters. Of course, Fred had 100,000 pieces at one point. Golly, incredible. Past Imperfect, a history according to the movies. Past Imperfect, history according to the movies. Madison Square Garden, a century of sport and spectacle on the world's most versatile stage. That sounds pretty interesting. Madison Square Garden book. Gone with the Wind, the screenplay, edited by Sidney Howard. The screenplay, wow. Gone with the Wind. Tracy Songer on Madison Square Garden. And then The New Hollywood by Axel Madsen. Oh, I thought I needed to drink some water because my stomach started like a muscle cramp. Oh, I'm in pain almost. Maybe I need more water. I downed that whole bottle pretty quickly. My body's probably like, thank you, Chad. Where was that 5 hours ago? I've been neglecting water the last couple of days. Can't let that happen. Hollywood Dynasties by Stephen Farber and Mark Green. Hank and Jim, the 50-year friendship of Henry Fonda and James Stewart. Regina wants the cowboy movie posters book. That's sold to Regina. Thank you. Who Was That Masked Man? The Story of the Lone Ranger. And History of Television. History of Television. Okay. I'm almost out of space and I'll have to take these off. I need to stack them where I can photograph them. And if I photograph them, I can post them in the group tomorrow. But first, here's Unforgettable, The Life and Mystique of Nat King Cole. Eddie Fisher, My Life, My Loves. Rosemary Clooney, Girl Singer, and Autobiography. And Dean Martin, Dino, Living High in the Dirty Business of Dreams by Nick Tosches. Can I get a James Dean bundle and Gone with the Wind for $40? What were was there more than one James Dean? There has to be for that offer. Tracy wants Dean Martin for $14.99. There has to be for that. Okay, let me read them maybe as I'm taking them off. Let me figure out where to stack these things. This is going to be a challenge. Let me move. I'm out of space. Let me push those there. This is the biggest problem. We're taking these things out of tubs, and then it's like, well, where do we do them? Pass on Dean Martin. That's okay. Let's put that back. Let me get a cart over here. Maybe right over here. Here we go. Chuck Haley wants History of Television. All right. That's so to Chuck Haley. Let me read. I'll read them off one more time. That way you can catch them one final time. I'm going to try to photograph, like I said, the spines so we can sell them in the group. There was 3 Dean Martin, so 10, 20, 30, 40. I can do that, yes. So Dean Martin, or there was 3 James Deans. Don't let me pass one over. Rosemary Clooney, Eddie Fisher, Nat King Cole, The Story of the Lone Ranger, Henry Fonda, James Stewart, Hollywood Dynasties. Okay. There's her Gone with the Wind. Past Imperfect, History According to Movies. David Brinkley. John Wayne's The Alamo, which is about the movie. Five for Hollywood, John Parker. Dean and Me, Way Out West. The Life and Times of John Wayne. Sheldon Leonard. Tom Brokaw. I'm going to leave all these Clint Eastwoods out. I can't believe none of those sold. Clint Eastwood. There's the first James Dean for Christina, $10. And The Great Television Series. Another book about television. Chuck Haley might want that one. The New Hollywood, Collector Color Guide, Ali McGraw, Peekaboo. There's the other James Dean. That's 2 of the 3. There should be one more. Marlon Brando, The Law West of Pecos, Judge Roy Bean. The History of Western Movies. Could I see the Sheldon Leonard? You sure can. That's right here before it gets buried. Sheldon Leonard. And the show goes on, Broadway and Hollywood Adventures. Okay, she thinks maybe there's only 2 James Dean. Okay, so Gone with the Wind, James Dean and James Dean, $30, Christina Curtis. Joan Crawford. The Films of Gary Cooper. Jake has took over. Let me see what Jake texts me here. Chad. Okay. Jake, you probably can hear me right now. All right, and then what happened? Tracy Does Want This, $14.99. And then we had All the Stars in Heaven, Louis B. Myers, MGM, and the Genesis Book of Movies. Okay, I'm going to leave those back there. Still got Gene Auther, Fred Astaire, Marlon Brando, Jerry Lewis, Jane Mansfield, Myrna Loy, Dorothea Moore. That's a Clint Eastwood book. Merchant of Dreams about MGM. Grace Kelly, Humphrey Bogart, Robert Redford, the 3 vintage paperbacks. Disney, Jessel, Carl Malden, Best of the West, Buster Keaton, Mayberry, Hollywood, another Clint Eastwood, Hollywood, and Errol Flynn. Okay, that's enough off the table for me to start some new piles. Okay, here we go. Bum, 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 bam, bam, bum, 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 bum. All right, we got Mr. S, My Life of Frank Sinatra. Mr. S, My Life of Frank Sinatra. Air Castle of the South. WSM and the Making of Music City. That should be pretty interesting. We have The Life of Dean Martin. Martini Man. The Life of Dean Martin. Martini Man. William Scholl. Miss Peggy Lee, an autobiography. Miss Peggy Lee, an autobiography. Highland, Richard Rogers. William G. Highland, Richard Rogers. Diana, a biography by Bruce Cassidy. And Louis, the Louis Armstrong story. $14.99. Can I see the Disney? Right here. This is Disney. The Mouse Betrayed, Greed, Corruption, and Children at Risk. Okay. Danny offered 10 for Mayberry. Can we bundle it with 5 other books to make it 50? Pick out 4 other books. I'll sell them to you for $10 each. Surely you can find 4 other books, Danny. This is Air Castle of the South, sold to Chuck Haley, $14.99. There's Mr. S. There's Louis Armstrong. There's Diane. Richard Rogers, Peggy Lee, and Martini Man, Dean Martin. An intimate look at a legend, the John Wayne album, Duke. John Ford, Stagecoach, starring John Wayne, the Film Classics Library. The Last of the Cowboy Heroes. John Ford and the American West. That looks pretty modern. Yeah, that was $45 new. John Ford. John Wayne Treasures, featuring a collection of memorabilia from the life of Duke. And Randolph Scott, The Gentleman from Virginia. You can bundle a check. So you're going to take the check for $95 and $10 for Mayberry, $105 for both. That works for me. John Ford, sold to Jackie Reynolds, $14.99. Let me take, I've got quite the stack over here. Let me take these over here and put them on the table. Oh man, I'm out of space. This table over here is full. Let me see what's over here. Let me put them over here. I don't know if I've done with that check. It might have got listed on eBay for $299.99 best offer. It might have got put on eBay for $300 best offer. I don't know if it's even available anymore. I was trying to like give it to you last night, basically. You know what? It may have disappeared. Okay. There's that. There's that. Awesome books right in here. Okay. Randolph Scott, a film biography. John Wayne and the movies. Heroes of the Range, Yesteryear Saturday Matinee Movie Cowboys. Ooh, here's a cool one. The Encyclopedia of Science Fiction Movies. The official John Wayne reference book. Hollywood, The Pioneers. Adventures in the Movies. Foreword by Douglas Fairbanks Jr. If you didn't know, Fred loved movies. Now, he loved stuff from probably 1920 to 1970. I don't know how much he got into the modern era, maybe through some of the 70s. I'm sure he liked a lot of 70s Westerns too, but Fred, as you can tell, was definitely a Hollywood movie guy. Chuck Haley wants the Sci-Fi Encyclopedia. You got it. Sold to Chuck Haley. All right, what else do we have? Let's grab this handful. Do you believe in magic? We have John Wayne, All-American Hero. The Western Films of John Ford by J.A. Place. The Non-Western Films of John Ford. The Films of John Wayne. Golly, if you read all this stuff about John Wayne, you would be a John Wayne scholar. John Wayne, There Rode a Legend. That's a pretty good looking one. Coffee table type book. Golly, do we have some books on the Duke? Holy moly. Golly. If you read all these John Wayne books, you would be a scholar. The Legend of Zorro. Bill Zini. The Legend of Zorro. You can put the check in the book for shipping. Easy peasy. At this point, I'm saving you money. I love how me and Danny's been negotiating for 2 nights now over $10. That's the only reason this is dragged out. Neither one of us want to lose. We're within $10 on a deal, and neither one of us wants to flinch. Let me show a few more handfuls, and then I need to, I need to take these off the table. I need to take these off the table and start a new pile here. I don't know if they'll fit on this cart. Those. Can you hear what I hear? A song, something dun dun dun, ding, ding, ding and ding, a ding, ding and ding. All right, let's do these. Wait a second. Okay. Man, some of these are huge books. They're going to be costly to ship, but I'll still do them for $14.99. $14.99. I got Forts and Battlefields of the Old West, the American Songbook, the singers, the songwriters, and the songs, lost films of the 50s, the detective in film, movies about detectives, Flesh and Fantasy, the truth behind the fantasy behind the truth, James Cagney, A Celebration by Richard Schnickel, The Duke, A Life in Pictures, another John Wayne book, and this book was originally how much money? Oh, not as much as I thought. Just $35 new, but man, seems like a great deal for $14.99. Country Music, The People, the Places, and the Moments. All right. So the American Songbook is sold to Leslie. $14.99 on that. If I can grab a hold of it. All right, and then the fantasy book, Flesh and Fantasy. Fred had a bookmark in here. The Girl That Can't Help It. Probably because he had a lot of posters. We had posters from that movie. Yeah, Jay Mansfield, I remember having that. Country Music sold to Jackie Reynolds. Leslie was second. Okay. And Leslie wants Flesh and Fantasy. All right, let's keep going through this stack. Cool stuff here. I've got a good stopping point picked out. We're a few more handfuls away, and then I'm going to start working on a lot of other stuff for tomorrow. For the millions who have caught scarlet fever, the ultimate pictorial treasury, Gone with the Wind. The Legends, 12 all-time great entertainers by John Fisher. Republic Confidential, The Players, that's from Republic Films. The Little Rascals, The Life and Times of Our Gang. Ooh, I bet this is good. Once Upon a Time in Italy, The Westerns of Sergio Leone, and I think y'all know what that means. That's spaghetti westerns like Clint Eastwood. And Neil Gabler, An Empire of Their Own, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. Okay, so first is Tracy Songer on Legends, $14.99. Tracy was first on The Rascals. Jackie Reynolds a close second. And Chris Frazier is in on the Clint Eastwood. Did you see the ones I had earlier, Chris? I had some awesome ones earlier. And then the Scarlet Fever, yeah. Okay. Boom. Oh my gosh, books are heavy. Why do I deal in very heavy stuff? Metals, records, books. Lunatics and Lovers, the years of the screwball movie comedy From Dinner at Night to The Miracle of Morgan's Creek. Spencer Tracy, a biography by James Curtis. Unforgettable Hollywood, Nat Dangler. Who are these guys? The Beatles. Tim Hill. Oh, wow. An encyclopedia of jazz and blues. Jazz portraits for the eye, for the sound. Jazz singers. And Tony Bennett. Cool. Please see if this one's signed by the author. I think Tanner put all the signed stuff already in a separate spot, but I will check for you. If they've been signed by the authors, we've set them aside. This one's not signed, no. Okay. And then Christina wants to know, can she add this to her bundle from earlier? You sure can. So give her the Scarlet book for 10. She bought another Gone with the Wind bundle earlier. We'll add that one to it for 10. I think Leslie is passing. Okay. And I can't believe no one got the Jazz and Blues book or the Beatles or any of those other jazz books. The Clint Eastwoods are back here. I'll pull them out in just a second. Any tour books? No, we're just going through books right now. These are just books. Okay, so the first Clint Eastwood was this one. Clint Eastwood, filmmaker and star Edward Gallifant. The other Clint Eastwood was right here. Clint Eastwood, quote, unquote. I think that's a Clint Eastwood book with Clint Eastwood quotes and information. Okay, there's two of them. What did I do with that other one? Chuck Haley wants Beatles images. Then Jackie just asked about it. Chuck already claimed it. Yeah, I think it's an informational and picture book. I have that one. It looks familiar now. I've got so many on the Beatles. Whew. No telling. All right. And what was there? I thought, Lunatics and Lovers. That's right here. The Lunatics and Lovers is in a laminated dust jacket. It's been taped down to the dust jacket. So that means the cover's in really good. The book appears to be excellent too. And Fred had a mark in it. There's his business card. Art, he worked for, by the way, that was his main job. He retired from R.J. Reynolds Tobacco. There's a Fred Goodwin business card. I'll leave that in there, Tracy, right there. So to Tracy Slinger. So if you're new to Coletco, all these books, thousands of them were owned by one man. He had 100,000 plus albums. He probably had 20,000 plus 45s. He probably had 20,000 books. He had 100,000 movie posters and lobby cards. We were the sole exclusive person that he wanted to sell to. It took us 5 years, months of buying and moving and transportation. We finally bought it all. He passed away last year. We started dealing with him in 2019. He had Parkinson's disease. Fred passed away last year. Rest in peace, Fred. Here's the other 2 Clint Eastwood books. I can't get to them right now, but Clint Eastwood by Richard Schickel and Clint Eastwood, The Interview. So there's 4 Clint Eastwood books left. And then can I look at the Hollywood Kids? Hollywood Kids, is that about, that's down here on the bottom, okay. I need to move this stuff anyway to get to this. Fred probably had 3,000, how many have we had authenticated? How many did we not have authenticated that we just went ahead and just sold? He probably had 5,000 autographs. Think about that, 5,000 autographs. Whew. What a collection. He's basically been buying and storing stuff away since he was a kid. There's the other Clint Eastwood. And there's the final Clint Eastwood. I'm definitely going to leave those out. If they don't sell now, they will tomorrow. And here's Hollywood Kids. Child stars of the silver screen from 1903 to the present. So if you have a big, huge empty house and you have 2 garages that are very large, almost the size of a house, and you're single, and you have a lifetime of money and collecting, you can probably amass what Fred. But I've told somebody right now, if you had an unlimited gift card for eBay, and you had $1 million in cash, and you were retired, and you had a car, unlimited gas card, hotels, and you started buying right now, it would take you a lifetime to accumulate all this stuff. I mean, just imagine sitting down and just starting right there and just trying to buy all these on eBay one at a time, looking them up, purchasing them, getting them shipped. So think about that. Fred never bought a single thing on a computer. That's what blows my mind. All this was purchased in person. He bought all this stuff we've been selling for years in person. It's truly a remarkable feat. None of this was, there was no computer in his house. He didn't have a smartphone. This was it. He bought all this stuff in person all over the country. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Never did buy any of it online. I mean, it would take you, I mean, just this stuff we sold it out, it'd take you several hours just to find it all and buy it. And then and that's just getting it shipped to you from sitting on your couch or laying in your bed. This is Disney, The Mouse Betrayed, Greed, Corruption, and Children at Risk. I think it's an anti-Disney book, and I think that's why no one has bought it yet. I think we got Disney fans here, not people who don't like Disney. So, Fred did not smoke. No, he worked for R.J. Reynolds, but he did not smoke. No. Nope, they just smell old. All they do is smell old. It's got that good vintage smell. Okay, I got to my stopping point, but honestly, I think there was a few over here from the last couple times that I need to get together. Let me see. They've been over here on this desk forever. It bothers me because I'm like, these shouldn't even be laying over here. So let me get these out of the way. If anything, we can just get them off this shelf. Nope, never mind. Not these. Well, maybe a couple of them. Yeah, not that, not that. Forever Dobie, The Many Lives of Dwayne Hickman. Forever Dobie, The Meaning Lies of Wayne Hickman. So we probably, the ones Tanner picked out, we probably got to the halfway point tonight. I'll show the rest tomorrow. The years for Rachel. The years for Rachel. Berta Ruck. (1918). You missed this jazz book right here, The Encyclopedia of Jazz and Blues. And then there was one more you missed too. Call a Truce and Meet at 100. Okay. I like that number. $100 for the Mayberry book and the Andy Griffin signed check. So basically, you're getting the check at 66% off, and I'm giving you the book for free. And if you're just tuning in, me and Danny are still negotiating over the Andy Griffin check. Any science fiction. When I'm finding them, we're selling them. I had an encyclopedia of science fiction movies earlier. We just sold that. I win one day. You win a lot here. You win a lot. If I'm saying sold to you, I've took a beating like Jim B. Like when I sell something to Jim B. Wow. Years of negotiating. The Andy Griffin book is sold to Danny, and I got to find the check. Let me get my hands on it so we don't lose it, okay? I don't want to lose it. It's, let me see, should be right over here. These were the unsold auctions from last night. Gary Wright, there it is, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to stick it in the middle of this book like that, okay? We might want to take this down, but we're going to put it in the middle of that book. So I'm going to put that somewhere separate because there's a $100, there's a check in there. I'm going to lay that right there somewhere different. But yeah, most of Fred's collection for books is informational. He did a lot of research. So he wrote liner notes. He loved to get educated. Of course, as y'all know, I told you, he didn't have a computer, never did use the internet. So this man relied on books the old school way. So he had a library of information. Like peeking ahead over here, some of the other ones tomorrow, more biographies, more movies about films. I'll try to show the rest of these tomorrow. And we still have 2, 4, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 25 more tubs that have never even been opened. And that's just one part I can see. So we got 20. And Tanner's sorting them. He's trying to show the better ones. There's probably some stuff he passed on that y'all might want. But if anything, we'll take pictures of them and post them in the group. So Rachel book. What have I just done with that? That was that old one, wasn't it? It looks like it was a nonfiction, or excuse me, it looked like it was a fiction book. What have I done with it? Can you explain Griffin and Griffin? Chad's obnoxious. Hey, you're not the first person who's told me that. What have I done with that? Gosh, these are hard to find. It's like when I lose a CD. It looked like a fishing book. Golly, I can't talk. Whew. This is the problems of a man with a southern drawl. A drawl. It's hard to say words correctly, okay? Especially for you high affluent people that want proper grammar and all that nonsense. I can communicate just fine, I promise you. I have a good sales track of communicating with people under the white book Best of the West. Oh, so it's hidden. Yeah, thank you. See, y'all can see better than I can. It looks like a fiction book. I don't really know what it's about. If you look at the title photo here, it looks like it's about a woman and a man and other women. The Years for Rachel. Did you see that German World War II propaganda? I still have that. I have not priced that out. Let's see here. There's that. Yeah, I'm going to pause right there. My fingernails have took a beating. I got to go get a manicure. These books dry out my fingers, and my nails just like. A romance novel by Bertha Buck, published in 1918 by Dodd Mead & Company, featuring illustrations by Edward. It tells the story of a long engagement framed by the biblical tale of Jacob and Rachel, as released during the World War I and 1918 influenza pandemic. There you go. The Years for Rachel, Bertha Ruck. Sounds like something sketchy is going to happen in that. Okay, I better stop there. We're expecting a lot of people at the store tomorrow to dig through the $2 records. If you're local, $2 records open up tomorrow. I think John is got more to put out, but I'm going to help them right now try to dig some more out. I got to clean up these messes back here and toss and throw some stuff around, film these videos, and I basically, once again, did not sleep last night. Would I do $10 on this? This is sold for $10. And that is sold to Jackie Reynolds. Okay, that was the last stack of books. The other two Coltrane items that you've put up for here, I have my name to list, and I guess those haven't come in yet. They have not come in, and I've ordered extras. Yes, they have not come in, and I've ordered extras. You are absolutely right. All right, what a successful night. I'd say if you add up all the silver we sold tonight and all the vinyl, I don't want to get crazy, but I bet adding up all the vinyl, the silver, the books, the coins, and all 8 crates of records, all the Van Halen signs, all the King Diamond signs, this could probably have been one of the biggest sales ever in Coleco history. It just flew under the radar. This just went under the radar quietly, possibly one of the best sales we've ever had. I guarantee it. We sold probably 200 ounces of silver. That's crazy. 8 crates of vinyl, 20 Van Halen lights, the 10 King Diamond lights, all these books, and I didn't even get to the first autograph I wanted to show tonight. I'll start trying to mix those in tomorrow. I've got Hank Aaron. I've got Larry Bird. I've got Magic Johnson. I've got Val Kilmer. I've got some killer autographs for tomorrow night. Those will be auctioned. They should do very well. And then over here we have, I should end up with all the Coltrane plus Roshan Roland Kirk. Yes. Those will be, those should all come in by the end of the week. Unless they were already sold out, and then, of course, they're back ordered, etc., etc. If you don't end up with one for somehow, make sure I have you down at least. I'm about to eat my chicken salad, my bacon Caesar chicken salad, and we have what else? A parfait, Diet Coke, and then some dark chocolate. That's my supper. Work, get to the gym, and go to bed. I'm killing myself, literally. Averaging 3 hours of sleep the last 3 days. I don't know how I do it. A lot of people ask me. I'll get here, and Tanner's like, dude, you hadn't slept. How are you doing this? I'm like, it's called adrenaline. Good morning. I have a question. Do you guys do used CDs and DVDs? Yes. We do that quite often right here. Every night, You just need to check in and see what we're up to. We definitely sell records every night. Sometimes we get into CDs. Bird and Magic, it's going to be about a $275, $350 item. Should be about a $275, $350 item. It's awesome. It's a huge print. It's awesome. Let me show it to you. It's Larry Bird does a lot of in-person signings. You get an idea of how big it is. It's an 18 by 24. That man makes a lot of money signing stuff. He does a lot of private signings. And then look at this. I'm not going to show that yet. I'm going to wait. Some stuff has to be a surprise. And then do you want the jazz book? Are you talking about the jazz and blues? You want jazz singers, jazz portrait, or jazz and blues? Jazz and blues, jazz portraits, or jazz singers? Hank Aaron, sure thing. I personally love this. PSA slabbed. A vintage photo of Hank. Graded a mint 9. Awesome. In a PSA slab. Yeah, it's signed by Bird and Johnson. She wants the Encyclopedia Jazz and Blues. Got it. Yeah, we're going to have possibly some air horns tomorrow, just because I think these auctions could get very competitive for some of this cool sports stuff. I got a basketball signed by Dr. J. Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff. Val Kilmer, Tombstone stuff. I think I've got Kurt Russell. I've got Val Kilmer, all Tombstone photos. And I got a Sam Elliott somewhere, but I hadn't seen it in months. I still got some expensive ones over here I need to reduce the price of. Aaron, I've already got some of these wrote down. Give me a second. Let me see over here. I got some of these already wrote down. Probably like 275 or 295. LT or 49ers. No. I got a bunch of stuff pending for LOAs. Here's one of my best signed photos I have right now. I don't have prices, but on a few of these. Morgan Freeman. Let me skip ahead. Here's a good one. Gene Hackman. I need to retag. Do I have yeah, some of these I don't have prices. Some of them I do. I got to retag these. A lot of work to be done. This is Clint Eastwood, a biography by Richard Scheichel. And then Clint Eastwood interviews, and then Clint Eastwood, Edward Gallifant. All $14.99. Hollywood Legends. All right. Anybody else? I'll have all these ready tomorrow. Movie information, autograph information, certification information, and hopefully we can get them all sold. Some of these I've had for a while. Trying to dig out some of the best stuff I wanted to sell at the end of last year. Some of it I never got to because we're so busy doing other stuff. And now it's the time of the year, first of the year. I know Paul's about to go on buying spree, so I'm like, holy crap. We better get the rest of this stuff out of here, marked and sold. Okay? Some of these will be buy it nows tomorrow. Yeah. I don't think some of these are, quote, really auction worthy, so I'll have them definitely ready for buy it now tomorrow. Okay? Anybody else? I don't know how long I'm live. I don't know how long I've been live. I think 7 hours because we started about 6:30. And I've been live for 2 hours over here. 7 hours, I think, total. So thanks, everybody. And I'm signing off, eh? I think so. I've still got Miss Kitty. I've still got Miss Kitty. And Ken Curtis. I still got Festus. I got Miss Kitty. And should be a great night. Everybody rest up. I got to do research on all this. It's going to take me hours. And I just said I got to get to bed a lot sooner, so I better get off here and get to work. I'll be wheeling and dealing tomorrow, Danny. You better come with your guns a-blazing, like some of these cowboys. You're going to be like Wyatt Earp at the OK Corral. Wow, what a movie. Okay, thanks, everybody. Y'all are amazing.